In his mid-20s, my guest says he has the audacity to run for North Charleston Mayor and hope for a better future. Let's welcome Brandon Trollinger, candidate for North Charleston Mayor. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on the show today.
All right, tender age of 25, and you're running for North Charleston Mayor. Tell us why.
Well, my name is Brandon Trollinger. I'm a native here of North Charleston, 25 years of age. I served 6 years in the South Carolina Army National Guard, and I'm also a former substitute teacher for Charleston County School District. I'm running for mayor of North Charleston because sometimes you have to make a little bit of noise and get into some good trouble, and sometimes you have to speak up and speak out against injustice and inaction.
When you talk about injustice and inaction, let's start with the first piece. So injustice, where do you find that there's injustice in your community?
In the affordable housing sector, law enfortement, just in everyday action in the community.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because North Charleston is the eviction capital of the country, excuse me, not of the world, but of the country, which is shocking. So why do you think that is? And how would you go about fixing it?
North Charleston has one of the highest eviction rates in the nation, and I think the way to properly address the situation is creating more housing programs and more opportunities for low-income communities. Creating more transitional housing, using some of the abandoned and dilapidated properties we have here in North Charleston, we can create transitional homes. I'm not talking about permanent residencies, transitional homes to get people back on their feet so they don't have to depend on governmental housing, so that they're able to become homeowners and find good paying jobs and rebuild that credit so that they can, like I said, become future homeowners. That is my goal here in North Charleston.
And how about crime? Let's talk about crime for a moment because there is a bit of crime in North Charleston, and even though it's rampant in a lot of cities around the nation, how would you change the way in which our streets are patrolled? How would you change the way in which criminals are dealt with?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because that is one of the biggest, if not the biggest issue in North Charleston right now is the crime rate. And we have one of the highest murder rates in the nation here in North Charleston. Wow. So the way I would tackle that situation is obviously, first we need to assign more, I would like to say like more active units here in North Charleston, like pop-up shops in different high crime areas, just in case if there's anything that does pop up in those areas, we have law enforcement officials and advocates on hand to address these issues. That's number one. Number two, I am willing to fight at all levels, federal and state levels, to protect the citizens of North Charleston, to create common sense gun law legislation here in North Charleston, in South Carolina. And it's gonna take more reform, and we need to, some guys protest on one day a week, once a month, but I think we need to be consistent more with our the way we attack the reform process. We have to go in our office each and every day. We need to be in the communities, building relationships between our youth and the citizens of North Charleston, alongside with our law enforcement officers and community organizations.
What does reform look like to you?
Educating oncoming officers, new officers, about the communities that they will be, and demographics that they will be addressing and engaging in an everyday activity, working with the community and bridging the gap between law enforcement, community organizations, things of that nature.
Yeah.
It's a collaborative effort. We have to have a leader, someone that's willing to fight with the legislators at the federal, local, state, and federal level to address these issues. Yeah. We have to give these kids an outlet here in North Charleston. Yes. More proactive community centers. How many kids learn how to code in high school? How many kids are financial literate by the time they, graduate high school? These are things that will save us money in the long run if we just implement these at the grade level. Some of these kids aren't going to college. Most aren't going to the military. Most want to work a job. The problem isn't that we don't have jobs here in North Charleston, just more than enough jobs.
Right.
It's the efficiency of the jobs we have in North Charleston.
That's a good point.
Okay.
That's an excellent point. It is very obvious that you love your community. Born and raised here in North Charleston. I also want to let the audience know that you did go to the Citadel. You also served this country. You were deployed to Romania during your military career, and here you are back wanting to serve your community. So do you have any campaign rallies coming up, any events that people need to know about so that they can get in touch with you and find out a little bit more about what you're your work is?
Well, each and every weekend, on Saturdays and Sundays, I have a group of young men who join alongside me, and we have 3 locations on Rivers Avenue. This mission that's actually, we're gonna revamp this mission here, and we're gonna, we have community blessings to feed the homeless community here in North Charleston and get our youth in the community being active to give them another outlet and to show them that, hey man, North Charleston can be a great place. It just takes a village.
And for people, absolutely, and for people who want to donate to your campaign, what is your website?
You can find me on Facebook at Brandon Trollinger for Mayor on Facebook, and then you'll see my donor choose and all those options. If you aren't on Facebook,
we're going to put that up on the screen.
We can go ahead and forward you more information to get this campaign up and going.
Brandon, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with your campaign. We're back after this.